was beautiful. And Paulette, your reading couldn't have been more perfect. And it totally complimented what I have to say. And I changed my mind about what to wear today about a million times. But this morning I exasperated, banged on Tommy's door. Tommy, which one? And I don't know if he just wanted to get rid of me because he was playing a video game or if he was being honest, but he picked this one. And it's actually pretty perfect because we're talking about diversity. And this is the mother of the bride dress I never got to wear. It was custom made for me to wear in January 2 years ago in Karachi at my daughter's wedding. However, my first grandbaby decided to come the same week. So I had to make the tough decision between wedding, baby, wedding, baby, wedding, baby. I stayed, obviously. But, so here, this is the first time actually wearing this. And it is an expression of my family being a tossed salad. And some people refer to this as a melting pot. But I don't like that word very much, or that phrase very much, because it indicates that everything just melts together in one big blob. Whereas in a tossed salad, every ingredient remains unique, but together it provides a very delicious concoction. So Jimmy Carter, Leila, Jimmy Carter once said, we're supposed to be seeing that on the screen. Okay. We become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. Jimmy Carter. So my family is a delightful concoction of different beliefs, educational levels, and races. My oldest is agnostic. Her husband is Catholic. My middle child is an atheist, as is her Muslim-raised but turned atheist husband. My youngest used to identify as Jewish, but when I rehearsed my speech with him, he said, nah, I'm just spiritual. I'm eclectic. I believe in God. I dabble in Wicca and Buddhism. I believe in reincarnation, life after death, and I absolutely love Pope Francis. One of my son-in-laws is Pakistani and dark-skinned. My other son-in-law is from another so-called undesirable country, El Salvador. He is what would be considered white. However, he's very obviously Latino. 2+ years ago, a biracial little boy joined our family. A little over a year ago, his mama, his papa, and he moved in with me. He's now a 2-year-old who's listening and learning to speak 3 languages, German, English, and Spanish. And the other day, we had this delightful moment where he asked for something in Spanish and didn't get what he wants, so he switched to English and said the same thing. We're like, he's got it. Wow. So even before my family became this multicultural, I believed in peaceful coexistence. I was born and raised in Germany. My first crush was on a boy from Turkey, then one from Italy. And in my adult years, I hung out with Arabs, and Tommy informed me they're not calling them that anymore. I said, well, they did back then. So my mother was a Nazi, so she was really racist. She wasn't very happy with my crush on these colorful people in my neighborhood. But she also believed in that God's only mission was to be out to get her. She was such an angry person, and I heard this all the time. God was just out to make her life miserable. But I was born a rebel, and I just couldn't buy into her way of beliefs. When my first child got married, it was a challenge for her paternal grandparents, both avid believers in the border wall and all the politics that come with it. At this wedding, they had already had to live with the fact that another one of the granddaughters not only married a Muslim from Jordan, but she also converted to Islam. I remember at the wedding, Grandma at one point said to me, I've been to 6 weddings in the past 6 months, but this one is by far the most fun. Yup, those Latinos know how to party, right, Rod? And these wall-supporting people, Grandma and Grandpa, were partying not just with just Latinos. Oh my God, some of them were undocumented, AKA illegal. My middle child was already divorced from a black Muslim-turned-atheist man. She has a pattern. At the wedding of her sister, her new boyfriend, a Pakistani, officially proposed. So long story short, Grandma and Grandpa now have 4 half-Jordanian grandchildren who are Muslims, and 1 half Latino with another one coming, and they're Catholic, great-grandchildren. And they are very much part of their lives. We don't talk about the wall or illegal immigration with them. As my oldest put it during the last presidential election, I don't want to know who they voted for. What if they still? And I'm just thinking, how could they? In Islam, there is a proverb that says, a lot of different flowers make a bouquet. There you go, that's it. In my house, there are 3 generations, 3 cultures, and 4 different faiths living under one roof. Oh yeah, also 4 carnivores and 1 vegetarian. 1 dropped out of school in 9th grade, 2 have a bachelor's degree, 1 has a master's, and 1, well, he's only 2. Does that mean chaos? No. I don't look down on my son-in-law who dropped out in 9th grade with just because I have a master's degree in education. He built me a beautiful patio last summer. What do I know about building patios, right? Nothing. One of my stepdaughters told me last year that her dad taught her to always try to be the smartest person in the room. And I said, honey, that depends on the perspective. When I had a plumber over recently and we assessed the damage of my leaking pipes, who was the smartest person in the room? He was. Does he know how to teach special education? No. Does that matter when it comes to leaking pipes? Absolutely not. She thanked me for taking a burden off her shoulder, but sadly her dad wasn't around anymore to hear this. Now, for an outsider, my life really may look like chaos. But let me give you an example of one typical day in my house. I come home from work, my daughter's about to leave for her job. On the stove there are 2 cookie sheets with veggies to roast and a sticky note on each tray on what temperature and how long to make them. Then rice is in the microwave with another instructions on sticky notes. And another tray with pierogies on the stove, guess what, with a sticky note, is also sitting on the stove. I sit at the dining room table de-stressing when my son walks in from work. I'll start dinner in 5, I say. Well, in 5 minutes, I realize he's already started it. Another example, 2 days a week, I leave at 6:30 a.m. and don't return until about 10:30 p.m. While I'm at work, my daughter sends me pictures with the comment, your lunch for tomorrow is in the fridge, because she packs dinner leftovers for me. When Freddie comes home from work, most days Sarah leaves for a job. He takes the baby, I make dinner, often pre-prepared by Sarah. And after dinner, I play with the baby if Dad's busy with something else. And Tommy, he just jumps in and helps wherever he's needed. We don't have to communicate these needs. They just happen. It just flows. During all this, we never think about what race anyone in the house is, what faith they follow, or what educational level they have. We love each other and do what it takes to make each other's lives the best it can be. If you focus on the human rather than external descriptors or characteristics of each other, we can get along just fine. And the baby, Papito, he doesn't notice our skin colors, races, education, or religious beliefs. All he knows, we are one big happy family. If he one day learns about these concepts, I'm sure he'll say, well, I follow that in my family. There's no problem there. Maya Angelou said, it is time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity, there's beauty and there's strength. I wrongfully thought that we are not born racist or discriminative in any way. I thought we were taught to be so. Sometimes just by subtle modeling, sometimes by outrightly having it drilled into our heads. Turns out I was wrong. We're all born with predispositions. Our nurturing can guide these predispositions in one way or the other. I learned this from my coworker, Michael, who's a science teacher. So when my mother found out that I spent a lot of time in the apartment of the Turkish family, I became aware of racism for the first time. However, the family treated me like I was one of their own when I was over there. Aside from their really hot son, they also had a daughter my age and a little boy. I played with them, I ate with them, I watched TV with them. The fact that mom wore a black dress and a hijab didn't make a difference to me. I thought it was just a fashion style. She did not wear her head cover inside the apartment, though. My mother's ugly attempt of infiltration reached me too late. I had already made up my mind that I really liked these people, and my mother sullenly just complained, "You smell like garlic," every time I came home from their house. I had experienced the humans in that family before someone tried to paint them as subhuman. Therefore, I was unwilling to accept them as such. Martin Luther King said, "An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." But even if we are predisposed to ideas of other human beings less worthy than ourselves, we can change the views that were once implanted in our brains. I work with inmates. A lot of them claim to be innocent and too harshly punished. I give every one of them the benefit of the doubt and treat them as human beings and not inmates. For those incarcerated acquaintances or not, if their views and actions do not resonate with my beliefs and morals, I pray for them and stay away the best I can. I did not walk in their shoes. Their predispositions were not nurtured in a productive, positive way, and that's not their fault. Not everyone is born a rebel. I do have to put up and can't stay away from a flat earther whom I asked, "Have you traveled?" "All over the United States." I said, "Well, I've traveled all around the world." And someone who believes the moon landing was fake, I said, "Are you kidding me? I watched it on TV as it was happening. Are you calling me a liar?" But we get along just fine. We kind of fight, joke about it. But speaking of rebels, one of my favorite all-time female rebels, late rebels, Dr. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, said, "We will all profit from a more diverse, inclusive society, understanding, accommodating, even celebrating our differences while pulling together for the common good." I think if we explain with kindness and real-life examples, such as plopping 5 grandchildren from different races and faiths and colors into your family, into your lap, it is possible to get through to most people. God loves us all, of that I am sure. God loves everybody, whether you like it or not, or believe in their version of it all. When it comes down to it, we are all children of the same universe, and no matter how you want to say it, it is time to love one another. That's it.